turning in karma points for a marketing deep dive.
Yeah. What I've been doing since the summer and since posting some stuff to the group earlier in the season was I've been working on getting things going in terms of actually putting myself out as a working professional guy that people want to actually hire rather than just some guy that does the occasional headshot and gets paid for it,
Right.
So far I've not.
Good goal.
Yeah, well, that's kind of my goal. And of course, as you know, my ultimate goal is to get into a position where I can actually change my career path. Right now, I'm obviously still working on my day job and moving forward from there. But what I'd like to do is at least reduce my work by half. And being a teacher, that means I could actually, if things worked out the way I want, I could actually be doing photography full time in the summer and fall, and only doing other things in the winter. So that to me is extremely appealing. And that's actually where I'm trying to get. But to get there, of course, I have to actually start making money. So, so I've been working on three prongs. One is I've been starting to put together some social media, which you might have seen actually, because right now I'm strictly starting with Facebook and trying to get that right, and then moving forward from there.
Okay.
I'm also starting to revitalize my blog, which was a bit of a cobweb blog for a long while, because I enjoy blogging, so I figure I might as well use it. And I've got the website that I want to go back over, which you saw earlier, and I want to show it to you again and get feedback. And then I've also got a set of packages and pricing that I've been working up. I've been consulting a lot of materials, marketing materials, and things that I can use to try to figure out what pricing to do, as well as doing research in my own area. I've been using, things like this book, for example, for whatever it's worth, right? And
Okay.
trying to take everything with a bit. That thing I've had to take with a bit of a grain of salt, because I don't think it's set up for a Canadian audience. So she keeps talking about the IRS's rules, and I happen to know that Revenue Canada rules are a bit different. So
Indeed.
So there's that kind of thing.
Okay.
So anyway, that's what I'd like to do, if that's good for you.
Yeah, no, that's good. Okay, so before we start diving into what you're doing on social media, let's talk about why.
Well, I'm looking at how to make the types of. Okay, I'm going to just ignore this phone call that's coming in. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
And of course, all my computers are
all
going
of them go off at once.
Yeah, they're all going crazy. And there we go. So they'll leave me a message and I'll call them back. And I'll turn this off, crying out loud. There we go.
Okay. So
the reason
do you have tabs open with your social media?
Yeah,
right
well,
now?
I can show you the only social media that I've started really working at lately, and I'm still just figuring it out, is Facebook. And so I'll open up that. I have that open here, so let me just pull it up as a screen share.
Great.
If I can remember how to do screen shares, there we go. And I'll show you the page as it currently sits, if it lets me. There we go. So that should be it there, right? So can you see that?
Yes.
Good. So that's, what I did was open up a page. Now I'm actually already regretting not opening it as a group, but it's too late now. People are already engaged with it, and I don't want to send out a second invitation to everybody I know, which is how I started. I started out by sending out an invitation to all of my friends. It took about a week to get about 150 likes, and I've had 40 or so since. It's been up for about 3 weeks or so.
This is a new page.
This is a new page. This is not something I've had. And so you can see this is what they show to the person who has the page, of course. This is not what somebody would see if they were looking at it. And so I've been regularly changing the stuff. You can see I've got some stuff up here from when I joined Nicole Ziegler in a bit of a shoot.
Right.
At the top there, that that's actually been quite popular. You can see 333 reached, which was okay from the standpoint of this page so far. And lots of people have interacted with it. I threw up a little funny video. I've been trying different things, you know, to see I'm basically throwing things out and seeing what sticks right now, because it's just a brand new thing and I'm experimenting with it. So I started out putting up a bunch of my own things. I did a shoot for a charity thing, so I threw up the pictures for that.
What's your intended goal when you say you're throwing up things to see what sticks?
Well, right now I'm trying to get engagement with the page so that I can get engagement, so that I can build awareness of me as someone who does professional photography. Right now I'm still regarded by many or perhaps most of the people I know, and I'm hoping to get some word of mouth, but a lot of people still consider me basically to be a hobbyist, and I'm trying to move in another direction. So this is actually a start. What I've been trying to do with this is raise awareness of what I'm doing, and I've actually had some people, some old friends, contact me and say they had no idea. So it is working from that point of view. And I'm also.
What is it that you're doing?
Well, actually, no. What I mean is the professional level photography rather than the hobbyist photography. Actually, trying to start some marketing, and a lot of people didn't even know that I was a photographer until now. A lot of the people I work with, and a lot of people who don't engage with me in that way, and so really just letting people see that I actually am a photographer. And that I have a certain level of skill is something that's is a starting point for me. I'm hoping to, because the next stage, see, the problem I'm having is I'm trying to figure out how to start the marketing without putting a huge investment in advertising. I'm not sure will work, so I'm trying to start using social media marketing. And so
before we start worrying about the marketing plan, we should probably have a very clear view on what it is that you're marketing.
Right. Okay. Well, let me show you the website and the other materials.
Okay.
And that will give you an idea, I hope. Let's see here.
Well, and the website and the blog, those are also marketing tools, but that's not what you're marketing. So.
Okay, but I think you'll see that when we look at the website, for example, I actually am setting this up. It's another marketing tool, of course, but sorry, I'm getting all kinds of other things coming up on my screen and it's distracting me here. It's another marketing tool. When you ask, what am I marketing? What do you have in mind? Because
I'm asking you what you have in mind. That's the whole point. You'd be surprised how many people are very focused on what it is that they're doing, and how to get the likes and how to get the viewers and how to get people to their page or their blog or whatever it is, but they don't know what they want them to do once they're there. And when we start exploring it, obviously the simple answer is hire me, pay me, book me. But that is not coming across in most people's marketing plans, which is part of the problem.
Right. So, okay. Well, the goal is to be hired, but what I'm seeking to do is essentially start up as a starting point. I have more things in mind for later, but as a starting point, I'm looking to start up a portrait and boudoir portraiture business.
Okay.
Focusing on women. I have a portrait of an idea of who the client is, and that shows up in some of the marketing materials I've got. And I'm trying to enter the market in a way that won't force me to be continually upgrading my prices and trying to find new clients. I'm prepared to enter the market slowly in order to build the right kind of clientele at the right level. And so I've been working on for the last couple of years, I've been getting people to come and pose for me and refining the type of photography I want to do professionally. And this is one of the types I want to do professionally, and the type I want to start with, because I think it's the type that I can start with.
Okay.
And then
let me pause you there,
type that I
though.
enjoy the most and think I do best. So
Let me pause you there. You have to condense everything you just said into a single sentence now. What is it that you're selling in your marketing plan?
I'm so tired. I'm selling. Sorry, I haven't done this in a single sentence in a little while, although I did have a few written down. Okay. I didn't bring them in here, so I'm trying to remember what I had written down, or I'm going to invent something new here.
That's okay, and it doesn't have to be a sales pitch. It's more just what I want my marketing to do is provide me fill in the blank.
What I want the marketing to do is attract. I wanted to, yeah, well, obviously paying customers. I was avoiding saying that because it seems so obvious.
No, but it is. And you'd be surprised how many people, like, we go, oh, well, it's obvious. I'm marketing because I have something to sell and I want someone to buy it. But if you don't get very, very clear about what it is you want, then your message gets very unclear to the people. So you build all these likes and you have all this interaction and it yields you no results. So for me, it's very simple. My page is designed to showcase my ability as an artist that commands $2,000 to $5,000 per session, and to bring in clients that want to invest that kind of money. Now that, I know what the message has to be and who it has to be crafted to and what kind of likes I'm trying to get, so that I'm not shouting out. Because if you go on my fan page, everybody's like, oh, your fan page is verified and you have 10,000 people. You know, half of them are middle-aged men that have no intention of ever hiring me. They just appreciate boobs. Like, it is that simple.
Yeah,
you know?
I've noticed that, and I've noticed you commenting on it as well.
It's, and it's, it comes with the territory for what kind of stuff I'm shooting, but that's the point. Like, it's great to go put it out to your whole following. But if you're going, hey, like my page, and the people liking your page are your buddies and, your family, and, you're probably not going to want to shoot your mother, your sister-in-law, your aunt as a boudoir client, because you start to like skirt those like family / people boundaries and like in between, and you're like, no, mom, I don't want to hear about, so all those people on your likes, it's great that they're loving and supporting you, but honestly, they're standing in front of you and your potential customers who are back here, who are probably not getting those invites now because the Facebook algorithms are sending out your post to them instead of to your actual potential clients. So
that is a good point. I have noticed, I have thought that one through, and that's why I was saying that I'm just starting with Facebook and trying to figure it out, because I do want to figure out whether and if so, how it can be used. On the other hand, it's been made clear to me through reading and consulting with people and so on, that if you don't have a social media presence, it's difficult to be taken seriously or to market yourself initially.
I don't think it's difficult to be taken seriously, but I think that's where most people interact now. So you lose a lot of potential. Every single client that has hired me in the last 3 years has come from Facebook.
Right.
Every single one. However, the interesting thing is that they'll go to my fan page and they're verified, but probably 8 to 9 out of every 10 people that hire me go to my personal page and not my fan page. And that's an important distinction because of the levels of interaction and the ways in which we can interact with our potential clients. So there's a lot of that. And there's also a lot of the fact that art speaks to people because something the artist says resonates. And we put so much of ourselves into our art that the artist becomes as important as the artistry. Most people will not collect art from someone that they don't like as a person because they associate that art with that person and they associate that product. So you'll see that a lot when people have negative reactions to something that a brand is doing, they boycott the brand. And it's not that the product isn't good. You know, it's not that it's not useful. It's not that it has any less value. It's an emotional attachment. So when I say, what do you want your marketing to do and who do you want it to talk to? We have to figure out exactly who it is we're reaching out to figure out why what you're doing matters to them. It is always, always a why. And until you have the answer to that, all of your efforts are essentially spinning your wheels to go nowhere fast.
Well, my ideal client, the person I'm trying to attract, is at this point, and I hope to expand this to other types of people. But right now, I'm aiming it at women between 20 and 50 or so, who are probably in the middle class or higher, although there's no limit there, and who live in a few particular neighborhoods in Montreal that I won't name, but because there's no point. But who live in, but I can name the neighborhoods and the types of folks I'm talking about. They're usually professionals, and they're usually going to be professionals, and they're usually going to be people who appreciate the kind. And obviously, they're going to be people who appreciate the kind of thing I do, and who appreciate art for its own sake and photography for its own sake, as well as for what it can give them. And that's the type of person I'm aiming at. It's the type of person who responds to my work as well. These are also people with a slight indie flavor, people who don't perceive themselves as mainstream, but who rather perceive themselves as being slightly off the mainstream, or sort of indie, if I can use that term. Okay. So they enjoy they enjoy the independent music scene and that type of thing. They enjoy they're not watching, or they're not bragging about watching mainstream film, that type of thing. What they're doing is they're working on other aspects of their lives. That's the type of person who seems to respond to my work, and the type of person that I'm looking to attract.
Now, let me trim the fat off of that, because the only things that you offered that were useful was indie and people that appreciate my work. The rest is irrelevant.
Okay. Why is the rest irrelevant?
Because we're taught this sort of superficial marketing branding scheme of finding your demographic for a client, and you see these big companies go, our ideal client is a woman between the ages of 30 and 50 who's in the upper middle class and these affluent zip codes and blah, blah, blah. I have had girls come in that are broke college students on ramen noodles that have spent more money than my affluent clients. So you're cutting them out and being judgmental about their situation based on their finances, which is not the same as their values. So people buy things that they can't afford all the time. So you want to get real clear as an artist, because you know who buys art? The people that are moved by the art. Art is always, 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 and people get offended when I say this, but it's very, very true. Art is a luxury item. It is non-essential.
Yep. No,
it is not necessary. It does not nourish your body. It does not provide shelter, food, or security for you or your loved ones. It is not necessary, on a survival level. So it is one of the first things that people go, no, I can't afford it. Or no, that's not a smart budget option for me, because it isn't. Because when people come in and they spend $5,000 on a session, that pays my mortgage for 2 months, my home for 4 people, and a dog and a cat and 3 goldfish, and it keeps all of us safe. That's a lot of money to ask someone to part with, to have pictures of themselves in their underwear that they could do with a selfie. Let's be realistic about it. That's essentially what we're asking. Pay my mortgage for 2 months and I will take a better selfie of you in your underwear. There's your marketing.
The other thing that you haven't mentioned, that I know you will eventually mention, or that I think you'll eventually mention, is that people will come to me because they want to have the experience of doing this shoot. They want to enjoy it. They want to have that particular experience of doing a photo shoot with me.
Absolutely.
And one of the ways in which
are actually an after effect of that.
And one of the ways I'm self-consciously trying to market myself is to put myself forward as somebody who provides fun, who's fun to work with, who's passionate about my work, and who will really bring out their best and give them the experience they're looking for.
What is the experience they're looking for?
It's somewhat something that's difficult to put into plain words, isn't it? It's an experience of being of how am I saying it lately? I say this differently every time, right? It's something that affirms who they are and sees what they're about and finds a way to express that in both in the photos but also in the shoot itself. It's also a whole heck of a lot of fun and a luxurious experience at the same time. Something that when they look at the photos, they're going to tell the story of it. They're going to say, "Oh, and this is. Do you know what happened? He did this, or we did that, or I came up with this idea, and so I did this." And he went, "Oh, that's great," and took the picture. And look at the picture we got. It's that kind of thing that they're going to be doing when they look at the pictures and when they show them to others.
I'll simplify it even further. You know what boudoir photography clients hire you for? An excuse to be selfish.
That's really funny.
It really is. And we always equate selfishness with a negative thing, but women and especially mothers are, often categorized for being very compassionate by nature and always tending to the needs and the wants and the well-being of others, mostly to their own detriment. And it takes them a long time to figure out that you have to secure your own face mask before helping the person beside you. There's a lot of truth to that. So women burn out and they can't remember the last time that they put their hair down and weren't in a ponytail and their pajamas and forgot to brush their teeth because they're rushing the kids out the door and they have a job and then they have to come home and they have to do dinner. And, and dads do this too. But for whatever reason, I don't know if it's cultural. I don't know if it's ingrained in our DNA. I don't know if it's, pushed on us by society, but women have a very hard time saying, "I'm doing this for me," without feeling incredibly guilty about it.
Yeah, I think that sounds like most of the women I know.
Right. So when they come in and they do this, even when they say they're coming in and doing it for their significant other, their husband, not that the husbands and the boyfriends don't appreciate the pictures, but they're fine with the live show. You don't have to go spend a couple $1,000 so I have a picture. You can just take that bad bathroom lighting selfie and I am perfectly happy because boobs. That's it. You just show up and they're pretty content. So even when they say they're doing that, they're not. They're doing it to remind themselves that they're sexy, that they have value, that it's okay for them to be spoiled for the day and to have that kind of experience. And it's really a grown-up woman version of the little girl playing dress up and make believe, except for now they don't have to just be princesses or fairies. They get to be these sexy seductresses who are in touch with their own eroticism.
I like that term, seductress.
Yeah.
A seductress. That's a good one.
So when you start to understand why they're coming in, then you start understanding what will be a call to action to get them to engage. Because you're saying, I want to build interaction on my social media. What kind of interaction? What is it that you want them to say? And more importantly, what are you going to say that's going to cause a reaction? Because everybody interacts on social media. Marketing aside,
right.
Social media interaction comes from having an emotional response to whatever you read or see. That's it. Oh, you got a new car. I like you, so I like that you're happy about your new car. Yay. Oh, he just broke up. Good. I never liked that bitch anyway. Every little thing that you do is a plus or minus. We share memes that make us laugh. We share things that inspire us. We share things that appall us in social media. It's always about an emotional reaction. So knowing that and understanding that is the single first key to being successful on social media, whatever the platform is, whether it's Twitter or Facebook or Google, wherever you're at. It's always emotional potency, constantly. What kind of feeling do I want them to have And how am I going to bring that about? So going back to your Facebook page, the one of the like ninja photographer, I've seen that little video clip where he's just all over the place. And some people are like, awesome. And some people are like, that's really funny, and they laugh. And some people are like, this guy gives all of us a bad name. We're not that kind of idiot. That's not how we stand and pose. So your photographers are probably going to have a totally different reaction than your potential clients to that. But there is a reaction.
One of the people on the page actually said, I want that wedding photographer. It's really funny.
Right? Meanwhile, somebody else is like, I would fire that person.
Exactly.
So, but the important thing is that they have a reaction to it so that they stay and so that they comment. You know, good or bad, because the person that goes, oh my God, that guy is ridiculous, and the person that goes, I want that wedding photographer, both of them comment. Then Facebook algorithm sends it out to a couple of their friends and goes, so-and-so is commenting on this page. You might be interested too. And they go, oh yeah, I saw this clip. And then they comment and it goes out to their people. So it's all about virility. It has very little to do with it. Like Jason Schwellinger, who's one of the upcoming masters, just sent me a link because I don't know if you caught it, but I did a video I put on Google Hangouts and did a recorded chat because this guy was completely inappropriate on the phone calling from a business place, and it went viral. It's got like 130,000
I saw
views.
that. I absolutely saw that. That was actually hilariously funny.
Cheeseburger picked it up, or some website or something. So people have been sending me links because it went viral and people are sharing it because this guy is essentially like asking for phone sex from his potential clients, and people think it's hysterical. Do you have any idea how much I have had interaction and views on my other videos as a result, just because they're coming over to my channel and they're like,
that's a good point.
and it's a bunch of stupid people following stupid links on the internet that are really wasting their time and not providing any kind of proficiency. But as a result, they're taking that and then they're going and saying, who is this girl and what else is her page about? I've got like 500 new subscribers. I've got 480 new likes this week on my fan page because it links back to it. You know, all because some guy was being a dick on the phone. Like, it had nothing to do with photography, nothing to do with art. And a lot of, but I knew listening to him talk that everybody that listened to this was going to have some kind of reaction, positive or negative.
Oh, yeah.
That's the point, is those kind of things. So if I'm trying to appeal, if I was trying to get started and didn't have a name or a reputation to go on right now, you know what I would be posting on my page? All kinds of lingerie links to Victoria's Secret and to different
I have a big question about that kind of thing that I really wanted to ask you, and this is on the list of things I wanted to ask you. I'm talking about going into going into doing a lot of boudoir. I'm a 54-year-old man. I have to watch out for the creep factor. I cannot be perceived as creepy. The moment I get perceived as creepy, I'm shot. I'm gone. That's it. It's over. So if I start posting stuff about lingerie and lingerie ads and so on, I have to be really careful. And so I wanted to get some feedback about that kind of thing, because what I'm doing right now is I'm being very circumspect and careful in the way I present what I'm doing, because I don't want people to be saying, oh, look at the creepy guy.
Have you heard the phrase, we meet our fate on the road we take to avoid it?
I suppose, yeah. I guess
one of the biggest problems that I see with men is their concern about coming off creepy is what comes off creepy.
All right,
it is. Because you get around people and you're like, because you second guess yourself, it comes off as awkward. And it would be the same way. Like, you ever watch, like, just go people watch at a bar and watch the guys that try to pick up the girls. The guys that are like, I just want to be nice and maybe buy you a drink because I don't want to be too forward. They do not go home with the girl. The guy that comes up and throws a line at her and sells it does, because confidence is sexy. And it's sexy in person and it's sexy in business. So the bottom line is that, you know, one, you're wrong. There are plenty of creepy guys. Look at, what's the guy with the glasses that everybody's always talking about? He's always like, there's like 10 or 15 cases of him molesting his models.
Really I don't know about this guy.
the plaid. Oh, somebody's gonna throw it up there. I can't think of his name. He's a really high up photographer. I'll have to.
Yeah.
Somebody's gonna.
Oh, in other words, creepy works is what you're saying.
No, I'm not saying creepy works. I'm saying that the belief that if somebody misinterprets what you're doing as creepy and says, "Oh, it was really creepy," that your
gonna have a
profession is shot and you'll never work again. I know plenty of creepy guys with cameras that I have no idea how they continue to get these girls in front of their camera, and they do. So one, take it with a grain of salt and stop being a drama queen, because your relationship and with your camera and your profession is not going to end because somebody misinterprets.
Well, it's true I exaggerated the case, but still I wanted to avoid the creepy.
No, it's good that you do, but people say that all the time. They're like, oh, you're at an advantage. I've had 3 people photograph me nude, and they've all been male photographers because of their talent. So let your work do the talking for you in terms of that.
And I've had several women tell me that the reason they came to me was they didn't want to pose for a female photographer. They wanted to pose for a male photographer.
Yeah, and I have plenty of girls that come and say they wanted to pose for a female photographer. Yeah. So it is personal preference, and some people don't care as long as your pictures are good, which should be the only priority. But it does come into play. You know, some people will just feel more comfortable with one gender or the other.
Right.
But I mean, you know, really it's the content. If you're posting links like I'll have to send you Kate Scaglione, I think, is a boudoir photographer that I follow. She does these great trifolds that have modest, sexy, and daring. And it's 3 different outfits in the same like color shade and the same style, and shows how you go from a more modest, sort of innocent, playful, sensual feel to sexy to provocative and erotic. And so she puts these up, and it's always A, B, or C. Which one are you? And people will go through and go, oh, I'm totally A, I'm totally B. What do people spend all their time when they're wasting time doing? They're on these stupid surveys, and they're answering dumb questions. So if you want people to engage, give them a call to action to engage, going, here's my latest picture. That's great. And you'll get the people that'll see it and they'll like it. But if you put up something like that, that's like, are you this person, or this person in a photo shoot? Everybody feels the need to immediately, even if they don't comment, everyone that sees that goes, I'm totally this person. They answer it in their heads right away. And then they see somebody else say, well, person A needs to, needs to live a little, because that's, something my grandmother would wear. And then they feel the need to come in and have a conversation and defend their opinion. So that's really, when you're talking engagement, start a conversation and ask for feedback.
Okay, good advice. Yep. Yeah, really good advice. I'm totally with you on that. That's great.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
and don't be shy is the other message that you're giving me. And if I'm going for boudoir, then go for boudoir and don't be shy about it.
Well, let me ask you this. Are you a creepy guy with camera?
No.
Are you ever unprofessional on a shoot?
No, I'm not even close.
Have you ever been inappropriate with any of your clients?
No.
So if I went around and told people that you were a hippopotamus, would you be worried about it?
They would be less likely to believe I was a hippopotamus, but no, I get your point.
Right. So, that's the thing. Yeah. And the thing is that if you look on my wall anytime that somebody speaks out and says something negative about me, whether it's a guy giving me a hard time because I wall of shame him, or it's another artist or something like that, anytime that I see my name, by the time I catch the link or someone sends it to me or it comes up on my newsfeed or whatever, there's already, the battle's over. Like, so many people come and fight for me that I never have to say a word.
Right.
So you just have to trust that you've spent all this time building your company, building your reputation, building your portfolio with people who love you and will absolutely come up and go, are you kidding me? He's one of the most professional people I've ever met. I love his artistry. I had a great time with him. You're nuts. So That's it. Like you really do. It does have to become that ridiculous to you. You have to
Yeah.
develop a little bit of a thick skin where you're like, it doesn't even become a concern anymore because you know you're professional, you're polite, and you have integrity with your clients, your artistry, and your business. That's it. It's not a question.
Yeah.
You know, it's just not. So anybody saying otherwise or perceiving otherwise is completely unfathomable.
This is probably just a reflection of the little bit of imposter syndrome I've been dealing with lately.
It always is.
Yeah.
It always is. People not feeling like they're good enough always project that outside and go, other people are going to think or feel this about me. It's always internal.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah. Let me,
So,
do you mind if we move? Because I know you don't have infinite time.
go ahead.
And I know you schedule these things. I want to respect that. So I'd like to. I know you showed the other night in the hangout we were in. You showed your pricing book, your little pamphlet that you use.
Yes.
Which is extremely simple and straightforward, and which I like a lot. What I've got here, and I might be looking at imitating that with a secondary thing that I want to put out. But I've been looking around a lot, and I've had people challenge the pricing that I want when I've been consulting with potential clients and also a lot of friends and so on, and asking them what they think. And people have been challenging me on the prices that I want to charge. And so I went and I did some more research, and what I discovered was very interesting, was that the other photographers in my area who are aiming at the same kind of market that I'm aiming at are not telling people the whole story when they publish their pricing, at least the stuff that I've been able to get at. What they'll say is, my package is, or no, come in and it'll be $500 for the shoot. And then you read what that means, and then you realize that that's $500 for the shoot. And then we'll talk about buying the products. Then we'll talk about whether or not you're going to actually take any pictures afterwards.
Right.
Of course, you'll pay extra for that. What I want to do is the more upfront thing that you do. And by the way, I spoke at some length with Agnes Phone, who was extremely generous with her time. You know Agnes.
Oh, yeah.
And she was extremely generous with me with her time and sent me her pricing package and so on. And to some extent, I've imitated what she does.
Okay.
And I've taken some of her advice to heart as well on that. So do you mind if I pop this up and share another screen? And I'll show you, I have put together 3 packages. What I haven't got here is the finished booklet. It's supposed to eventually be published. One booklet in English, one in French. Everything I do has to be done twice. Everything has to be done.
It's the same way in America, only we do it in Spanish now.
Exactly. So yeah, there you go. So I've got one in English and one in French. And what I haven't done is put together the cover. I had a cover, but I showed it to a graphic artist who basically ripped it to shreds. And
well, let's take a look.
And so I've taken the cover off, and I've taken all the pages in the middle, and I'm also missing another page here, but it doesn't matter. How
many pages is this?
It's 3.
Like it's 3 or it's 6?
It's going to be no. It's going to be 3 pages with a couple of, what it'll be is 6, because I'll have a cover. You'll open it up. There'll be an image with one of the packages. You'll turn the page. There'll be another image, another package. You turn the page, be another package. So it'll actually be published that way. You disagree? That's how I was looking at it.
Too much information.
Okay, so just 3.
I did the same thing. I did the same thing when I started. Mine was 12.
Oh, I wasn't going to go to 12. Oh my goodness.
Mine was 12. Well, it was for weddings too, so there was a lot going into it. But yeah, it was the same thing, and so, you saw my simplicity. So
I did, and
that was it. From 12 pages, that was the information that got taken down, and it's on a 5x5 card. Like it's not even an 8x10. So how big is yours?
What I wonder about, well, mine's going to come out as 4x6.
Okay, that's better.
Yeah, I've got this all set up as 4x6. It's actually done up in Photoshop on a 4x6 template that I created. So here we go. Let me just share it. And there it is. Oh, can you see the whole thing?
Yes.
Okay. So that's the first. Whoop, I just selected the whole thing. So that's the first page. It's funny. It's only showing up as a part page on my my view of the screen, but I'm going to assume you can see it.
I
So
can see the whole thing.
this is the low end one.
Okay. Now, are we just looking to look over your marketing and the style of it, or do you want me to tear apart your packages too?
Anything you think needs to be commented on, just comment on it because I consider it a whole.
Okay.
So the packages are largely an imitation of the kinds of packages Agnes offers. It's downgraded a little bit because I'm starting out.
Okay.
And what I've chosen to do is and actually there is one thing that's going to be changed in this one. Where is it here? Which is, oh no, I'm not going to change it. Sorry, I did change it.
Okay, first question.
Yes.
Why are we using the same images on two pages?
Oh, the second one's French.
Oh, okay. All right. That makes sense.
Yeah, there's the French.
That's
Sorry,
acceptable.
when I
Okay.
opened it, it opened French and English for everything. So you.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah. So that's the first one. I'll just show you all three, and then you can think about it. If you're ready?
I'm reading through.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead. Show all three, and then
Sure.
we'll go
Okay.
back and go through them.
Yeah. And then there's the second one. What I'm choosing to do here is to say everything up front. This is what you get. And there's a page that's missing. Oh, I see there's a bit of a formatting issue with a line around it, but I'll fix that.
Mm-hmm.
That's just a technical thing. And I think when I saved it, it must have been shifted slightly.
That's okay.
So that's the second one.
Can you zoom in on these or bring them up a little larger once we go through? Show me the third one.
Oh yeah, I sure can. Yeah, I can put them to full screen.
Okay, cool.
And then oh, sorry, that's the French. There's the English. And
okay, let's bring that one up full screen, and we'll start there, and then we'll go back because some of the things will change in every package.
Sure, obvious, of course. Let me just see if I can get it to full screen. Come on now.
Okay, so there's a couple of things off the bat. One, the veteran in me wants to tell you that I'm not a huge fan of setting an hour limit. The job is done when you have enough images to complete that package and not before.
That was where I started, and that's what I wanted to do, but I was strongly advised to have an hour limit just because people would not have a sense of what they were getting. But I'm entirely happy to take that out, frankly.
I only speak a little high school French, so we have to go to the English.
Oh,
I'm
I'm
not
sorry.
going to be able to give you
Sorry.
good feedback.
I thought I was giving you the wrong about that. My mistake. There we go. Go back to full screen for some. There we go.
Okay. So the problem with doing it at an hourly rate and locking everyone in is that when you're working with normal people and not with models, they don't all have the same experience levels. They don't all have the same comfort levels. I've spent an hour with a single client just getting them comfortable enough to start taking off their clothes in boudoir. Because if you force it, and especially if they know they're on a time limit, they only have an hour to work with you. They're looking at their clock instead of enjoying themselves. So now you're cutting into that experience with them too. So I'm not a big fan of it. Especially if you're operating at a higher price tag. Like our limit is for if you want to do 3 to 4 sessions in a day.
That's cool because I actually wanted to say we'll take the time it takes, but I was really pushed in another direction.
By who?
By a number of people, and one of them was that I was, as I say, I was imitating Agnes, and she has time limits. I didn't see a single package except yours that didn't. From anybody else, and then I had a lot of people saying, I don't know what you're offering if you're saying it takes the time it takes. What does that mean? What am I paying for?
You don't have to say anything about time. Like you come in for a session. If my people, if they ask me, I tell them to plan to be here for at least 4 to 6 hours.
Yeah, well, that's cool.
Because I have hair and makeup included too. So there's well, if you're separating it and saying an hour shoot time, that's different. But again, that puts in there.
Yeah, it's the shoot
Right.
time, I
But
mean.
they'll put it in their head that they're going to be here for an hour and schedule something 2 hours later
Right.
from the
Yeah.
start time. So you have to be really careful about that, because people just log numbers away and associate it, and they won't think about it.
Yeah.
So,
It's a really good
I
point.
tell my clients all the time, you pay the $500 deposit to book the studio for the day, because nobody else is in the studio that day. I've never done 2 sessions in a day. I usually don't do more than 1 session to 2 sessions in a week.
Right.
So I put a lot of time in between what I'm doing, and they have my undivided attention. They should plan on being there, for half a day. Like, I think in half day and full day rates, like 4 to 8 hours.
Right.
Some of them will just be on, they'll be super comfortable in what they're doing. They'll come in and take their clothes off at the front door and just be super comfy in their sensuality and their sexuality and not have a problem. And other people come in like this.
Yeah.
Like, I haven't, and their shoulders are like up here to like guard their necks so that it doesn't look too slutty. Like, and they're like, it really takes time just to get their body language to relax, which is where the hair and makeup artist really comes in handy, because they spend an hour doing that, and you start to see it go down by inches. I measure when they're ready to shoot by how high their shoulders are, you know? The other problem that you have is that you can't do both. So if you want to operate on a time contingency and go, I'm getting paid by the hour essentially, and you're only getting an hour or 2 or 3 hours of my time. You can't also say that you're getting a certain number of outfit changes, because again, it can take them 20 minutes just to lace up a corset.
Yeah.
So, you
Whoops,
can't.
sorry, I changed that to French again.
That's okay. You can't guarantee with everyone that you're going to get through, 3 to 5 outfits in a certain amount of time, because certain people won't. Either one, you'll have a hard time shooting it and getting the right angles and getting the light right. And there's so many other things that can feed into how long it takes you to get a good shot. That you might not get into that many. Two,
Right.
I don't like to promise them a certain amount of outfits, because it really just depends on when I feel like I have enough images to put together my collection for them. I'm always aiming for that 20 image box, so sometimes I get enough diversity in the lighting and the posing and the way I'm shooting that I feel like I can put 4 or 5 images of one outfit in. Other times I'm like, or they bring in 3 essentially same outfits in different colors, and I'm like, it's done. It's tired. We don't need to shoot in all these different colors. Like, now I just have Easter egg versions of you.
So I could still have that line that says unlimited looks as time permits, and not give a time limit, because then it would be, look, we've been here for 4 hours. Let's stop.
I think that's all information that can come out.
Yeah.
It's not important.
Okay.
It's really not. When they message me and go, well, what do I do? What do I wear? I tell them to pack a suitcase like they're going on vacation. I'm like, pack a suitcase, bring all your sexy underwear, bring your sexy clothes, bring your sexy shoes, bring all your favorite earrings and your sunglasses and your sun hats and dresses and jackets. And if they're coming in and doing something, especially if they're doing something for their husband/boyfriend, bring one of his button-down shirts and his favorite tie. Just pack. If you go and go, maybe I'd rather you have it and us not use it, than you go, oh, I had the perfect thing at home and not bring it. So that's just the conversation. And a lot of times they bring 10, 15 outfits and we'll use 3 of them. But again, I would rather them have it than not.
Absolutely.
So
yeah, fair enough.
The problem is that nobody's going to read through all of this unless they want you, because they already heard about you and saw your pictures and they just love you. Well, but as far as marketing to new people that haven't heard of you in the midst of all the conversation, it's what we were talking about before. 1 sentence. That's why there's so little information on my marketing materials. Like, it has to be really, really simple, and there's absolutely nothing in there that's hooking them on emotion, which we were talking about earlier. It's all what, it's not why.
Okay. Yeah, I got that. Okay. So this isn't terrible, but it needs something more, is what you're saying, and I should take out
I
couple.
don't necessarily think it needs more. I think it needs a lot less.
Well, I mean more in this. It needs the emotion.
It needs here's what you do. Sinfully self-indulgent, I like, because we were talking about the fact that all it is selfish.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that's a good thing. Okay. Personal consultation before the shoot, take it out. It adds no monetary value. It doesn't have a monetary value attached to it. Of course, you're going to talk to them before the shoot. That's the only way you're going to get the shoot scheduled. It's redundant. Hair and makeup is good. Leave that in, because that is a plus or a minus of essential information that if you don't have a hair and makeup artist, they have to go get their hair and makeup done before the session. That's important. Wine and treats is cute. You can leave that in. 3 hours of photography in a boutique hotel booked for you. I like the boutique hotel.
Yeah, I'll keep the boutique hotel. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to take your advice on this and eliminate the 3 hours of photography in, and I'll just say a boutique hotel book just for you. And by the way, I've got the double asterisk at the bottom. Is that something I can that detracts too much, or because I really don't want to be giving them a promise of anything fancy? And if
I would up my rates to include the fancier room and shoot fancy, so that their pictures are amazing and their experience is heightened, especially at the simply self-indulgent level.
I was kind of trying to avoid breaking the psychological barrier of the number 2. By doing that, you know, I started out with this thing without that, and I had this thing at around 2,300 or 2,200, and it just felt like too much to me.
Why?
Maybe because I'm just starting out, and maybe because okay. I did have a couple of people look at this package and say things like, "Wow, that's totally worth it." So
yes.
You know. So
well,
maybe,
then that's a sign that your price is too low.
All right.
There should be a little bit of pain. It should be hard for them to afford your higher packages. There should be a little bit of, you know, when they see it, of how much do I want it? And they should have to decide. And in general, most people book their middle package the most.
Right.
But I'm telling you right now, I would, especially for your highest package, everything should increase in the experience. So the room should be a higher end room, a penthouse, a suite, something really sexy and amazing, because they're investing more.
In Montreal, we're talking about $500 or $600 for that kind of room.
So what?
Yeah. All right.
The thing is that they know those rooms cost that kind of money too.
That's
so
true.
They do mentally factor that in subconsciously of, oh, well, it's $500 just for the room I'm in.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. One of the things that I've been, assuming I make this fly, one of the things I've been intending to do, I haven't done it yet because I want to have a couple of shoots first, is to go to one of the hotels that I use and actually say, look, here's the package that people are buying. I'm using your hotel. If you give this to your clients and offer it to them, obviously I'll deduct the cost of the room from the price of the package. And then get them to offer it to their clients from out of town. So honeymoon couples, you know, you get the idea.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
That's something that can you still see that full screen? Because I
can see it from here.
Okay.
So unlimited looks I would take out.
Right.
One hair and makeup change if desired. It depends on how much time you want to spend. I think you're greatly underestimating how much time goes into hair and makeup. You're looking at an hour or two. So you want to be careful about breaking in another hour or two in between to take all that makeup off and completely change it.
Right.
And change the hair. Now, if you have a good makeup artist, you can do like a very nice sort of pretty cover girl look, and then she can just smoke out the eyes and darken it up a little to make it a little more sultry.
Sorry, you just fell into a well there and I lost what you said.
Sorry, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can. But I lost the last thing you said.
If you have a good makeup artist, she can do a nice clean sort of cover girl photo look. And then halfway through, just kind of smoke out and darken the eyes to give it a more sultry feel with very minimal touch up, where it's basically just eyes and lips.
Right.
But you're still looking at another half hour, you know, to an hour
Yeah.
to 2 hours if you're talking hair and makeup. So that's 4 hour, up to 4 hours of just prep time. And you're breaking that down. She's going to be tired by the end of the shoot.
That's true. Part of the cost of this has actually been set up to include having to pay the hair and or makeup artist to stick around. You know, so maybe if I take that out, I can ask at the beginning.
You should be just fine to do almost all boudoir photography. Those big curls that are just like what's in the photo there.
Yep.
You know, and a sexy look. You don't have to change her hair and makeup. Changing her outfits, her posing, and the lighting is enough.
All right.
In my opinion.
Yeah.
I very, very rarely change a lot of the look with any of my clients unless it's for something really special. Like if we're doing an entire, portfolio for a model, that's different.
Okay.
So I would also take out coaching for pose and expression. Coaching makes me think of baseball fields. It doesn't make me think sexy. And it goes without saying, you're the art director, you're the photographer, you should be coaching and posing them. That isn't a luxury item that's being added on. It's just
that's actually that line is in every one of the packages. Actually, that's
yep. It should come out of every single one of them.
All right.
In-person reveal of your proofs a few days after the shoot.
I can't do the same day thing unless I completely change the way it's
I'm fine with you doing it after. I don't necessarily know that it has to be explained. I guess it depends on when you're giving these to the client. If you're thinking of using this as marketing materials and they're getting their hands on this before ever meeting you or talking to you, it's way too much. It's way too much info. I'm fine with this being something that you have in the studio when they come and meet with you and looking over it before, but what is the purpose of this? When are you planning on people seeing this? And how are they getting their hands on it?
Well, the idea was to actually set up a second meeting with, the day of the shoot. You set up a second meeting. You say, okay, when will we meet? I'll show you your proofs when we meet. Where will we meet? And probably.
No. I'm talking about the marketing materials.
Oh, when will people get their hands on this material?
Yeah.
Initially, my current thinking is I'm putting together a list of women I already know, well or not well, whose email addresses I have, and I'm thinking about simply sending them an email saying, "Look, we've been talking about this. This is women who I've already discussed this with," and saying, "No, you've been asking about this, and we've been talking about it. Here it is."
Bruce, when's the last time you read a 3-page email?
Oh, this would be an attachment on the email. The email would be 2 lines.
When's the last time you read a 6-page attachment on an email?
I do it all the time, actually.
Okay, women don't.
That's another.
You're asking an awful lot. It's too much. One, you're creating. This shouldn't be an attachment because you're already asking them for another click. The more clicks it takes them to get to the important information, the more people you lose along the way. Okay. One, you're asking them to click to open the email in the midst of all the other emails that are asking to be open. So you lose half of them off the bat, probably more, probably 75% of them never even open the damn email to begin with. Right. Then you're asking them to read the email and click on an attachment, knowing nothing about any of their internet or computer speeds and how long it takes them to actually pull it up, if it actually opens, if it's in the right format, yada, yada, yada. And you're asking them to then go through all this information. You're going to get 1 out of every 50 people that way.
Okay.
So it's got to be condensed. It's got to be more simple. And it's got to be really potent. Like, I would have a photograph, a JPEG of this that gets uploaded into the email, and everything that you have that's essential shows up on 1 page.
Okay.
And only 1. You do not need to explain every single package and what's included in the initial email. That is for their viewing.
Right.
So all this information, if you want to get it printed and you want to have something for them to look for when they come sit down to go through the viewing, or when they actually come in for the session while they're sitting flipping through it while they're getting their hair curled, that's one thing. But this is not the initial document that goes forward. The initial document has to be short, sweet, and concise. It should be half this page worth of information.
All right.
Come in for a session. Hair and makeup is included. We book at a really beautiful hotel. We do an in-person viewing several days later. Packages range from $750 to $1,950.
Right. If it's $750, the $750 one can't be done in the hotel room.
Okay, well then that's fine. Yeah. But the idea is
the idea is this, right?
Minimal. You should be able to make the whole sale in 3 or 4 lines. That's it. Like if you can't, you have too much info. This was really, really hard for me to learn to do too. It's so I'm sympathetic, but I can tell you from experience that I had almost all of this in mine as well. And it's redundant. Like you're telling them things they already know. Like your favorite images are going to be lovingly retouched by the artist. Obviously, they're not going to be hatingly retouched by the artist. They expect now everybody understands that images are retouched, so you don't have to say that at all. The personal gallery app, the USB key with the digital images, $250 credit. One, I'm really interested to look over your pricing right now and see how you're making a profit with everything you're offering with this.
Well, the pricing in the sheet, I have a sheet that I didn't open here.
Okay.
Which, but what I can actually show you, possibly this will be more interesting from that point of view than the pricing list that I would put out and use publicly. Maybe this is more interesting. A lot of the stuff that I'm offering comes from these guys that I'm now going to start sharing as soon as Google allows me to do it. If they ever do. Oh, look at that. I'm back. I have to stop slouching. These guys. So this is a Canadian company called the Boudoir Album. And they're based in Toronto. I've been in touch with them for a while. This is their catalog with at least a lot of their pricing. So we have basic album pricing here. So the standard albums, I'm looking at the standard spreads here with the basic covers, and I can go up to large without really suffering too much. So it would be $188 for a large size album. And I'm actually looking at the standard sizes. So we're looking at 150 roughly. And we have they also have discounts for second albums and so on. The presentation boxes are $95 plus the mats, or $140 plus the mats. And my pricing reflects the larger number.
Okay. So with your biggest package, what is the album that's offered?
The album that actually, this is interesting because after listening to what you said the other day, I now think I'm actually currently offering the standard album.
Okay.
But I'm thinking about switching it to the large album simply, and then just saying your album, and then saying here are your choices and let them pick. But basically use the large album. The reason I didn't go with the large album was partly because a number of people told me they found it too big. And they preferred the standard size, the 8x8, which opens up to 16 inches long.
Okay, so we'll assume that we're using the largest one. Yeah. It's $180 for the most expensive album.
Yeah, it's $180 for the most expensive, and I'm upgrading all of the covers. That's what.
How many spreads does that include?
Up to 15, I believe, which is 35 images maximum. For some reason, this is refusing to scroll. One moment while I try to get it to do so. There we go. Okay. So we have up to 10 spreads. Sorry, up to 10 spreads, which is
20 pages.
Which is about 20 pages, and so I can get all of the images in there that I need, because it's the large package is 18 or 20 images. I say the package, but I would probably as a standard thing up it to 20, just because here you are. I added 2 more for you just because to your album, if they order an album.
Okay.
Because it doesn't cost me any, and it's fun for them,
The full picture wrap or picture cover, are those the prices that are associated with
Yeah,
that?
those everything. All the numbers are prices.
Okay.
No, the
So
full picture
we'll,
wrap and the picture cover. Yeah. What I'm offering is the Japanese silk cover, which is an upgrade. So I'm offering what the $20 upgrade cover. If they
so we're
want
not
the picture wrap,
looking, we're not looking at the other covers?
no, if they want, I can offer the picture wrap. That if they want it, I'll certainly give it to them. It'll only cost me $5 more. So,
Wait, now I'm confused because what I'm looking at says that it's $28. Am
oh,
I
you're looking
reading
at the
that
large
wrong?
size album, and I'm looking at the standard.
Okay, well, are you,
People have been telling me that the large size album is just too big, and they want the standard. Now, I haven't held them in my hand. I've held albums ordered from these guys in my hands, and the large is really, really big. I mean,
okay, so you're thinking an 8x8 album, which is 10
yeah.
spreads at 125, and you're planning on only doing 10 spreads?
I'm planning on doing for the upper limit. Yeah, 10 spreads would be all of the photos that they have. I can add more if I want to, but 10 is what I've been thinking about. Yeah,
Okay, and then to upgrade the cover, what is that?
that's $20, and that's to take it from the standard. I'll show you the covers here. There we have the basic covers. So these ones, they're basically, the linen, the various colors like that. And what I'm taking it to is one of these Japanese silks. And I'm offering the black or crimson. And if they don't like that, I'll show them some options.
Okay, now on the bottom of the pricing page, it says $5 for Japanese silk, but it says $20 for the upgrade. So which is it?
They tell me that, hang on, where is it here? Going back up. It says $5 for the satin wrap. The Japanese silk is an upgrade.
Okay, so you're planning on upgrading to the silk.
Yeah, I am. For the top level one. For the other ones, I would.
But you're also planning on being able to offer them the full picture wrap or picture cover ice if they want that?
If they want that, yeah. But I'm not going to make it. I'm not going to offer it unless they say, I don't know. I'm going to say, hey, it's beautiful Japanese silk, and I'm going to have eventually. Not eventually, very soon, I'm going to actually be ordering a couple of albums from these guys so that I have them in my hand.
Are one of those albums going to have the custom covers?
Yes, they both will.
I mean the picture cover.
Oh, I wasn't planning on it, but I guess maybe I should do that.
If you're going to offer it, you should have it. However, if you're going to offer it, then you should base your price overhead off of the most expensive option.
Yeah.
Because the problem is that the more you nickel and dime them, the more upset they get. If you tell them that, they're booking it and they're getting this at this price, and then, they want 2 extra spreads at, $7, $8 a piece, that's 14. And then they want to upgrade another to the full picture, that's another 25. Now they're spending like an extra $35 to $40 that they weren't planning on spending when they're already spending a good bit of money. You decide what you want to offer and build it up to the highest price instead of nickeling and diming them. Because then when they go, well, what if I want that cover? And you go, it's the same price. They go, really? Because they're all trained with everything to pay for the extras.
I'm not going to offer another cover at a different price. If they want the custom cover, if they want the custom cover, I'm going to suck up the $5.
Then you should build your price off of that and that alone.
Right, because I'm not going to show them this list. This is the catalog that's shown to the photographers.
I get that, but it's when you're building the prices for yourself, you should be having the highest number in your head as your overhead. Right. And then if they want the Japanese silk, then great, you make an extra $5 that day. I don't know if you want to offer the picture cover or the ice, but that's $50. That's a significant difference.
I don't really. I mean, the picture cover is the same as the full picture wrap. It's $1 less. I don't plan to offer the ice cover mostly because I don't like it. Okay,
that's fine.
So I'm not interested in offering it.
Okay. So
this is
what else?
This is a picture of what the, I don't know if you can see that clearly, but of what the picture cover looks like. And I wouldn't really be offering that either. Personally, I'd be offering the full picture wrap.
Right.
which is much nicer, you know.
What else is included in your expensive package? What are
So
they
down
getting
here
for?
we have, I'm offering these things. One of these is included. So this is a image folio, and we can have it either matted or unmatted. Matted and unmatted is, you know, the difference is $14, and I've priced it to assume that they're getting it unmatted, which is more expensive. The larger folio, and I've
So
just
it would
priced it
be
around that
34 because they're getting it with the album, right?
That's right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It would always be. This is one of the things that just comes with either the album or the image folio or the image box, which they've told me would also. This would
What
also.
else? What else are they
And
getting
the other
with
one
the
is this
package?
presentation box here.
So they're getting all of these with that
That's the
package.
top end thing. They're getting all three of these things.
Okay.
And the folio, the presentation box, the pricing is up higher. There it is. So that's, and I've assumed at the top level, I've assumed this price, and the mats are $4.50 each for that. And that's for large size boxes, which again, for really big boxes, and some people again have told me those are too big, but that's
So
fine.
you're looking at an extra $45 if you're matting them all.
Yeah, and I plan to order the mats. By the way, they're not doing the printing. I'm doing my own printing.
So you also have to pay for the prints.
Yeah, but I do my own printing, which is around $3.50 a print maximum, and less actually, including it's actually around $4 a print for
And
everything, and that's included in my price.
10 prints in the box or 20?
I'm doing 18, but I would probably include 20. 18 is the package.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then we're not, okay, so we're talking 140 for the box.
Plus another 40.
And then we're
plus
talking
another 90.
450.
Times 18. I just multiplied by 20.
Yeah.
And that's if they mat it. And if they don't mat it, then I don't order the mats the following time. But of course, we assume that everybody gets them matted.
Plus, we're talking, we'll say $3 a print for each of those 18.
Yeah, roughly. It's depends on the paper I use. It can go up as high as $5. But I'm the paper I plan to use would have me going at around. I calculated it as being generously $3.50 a print. That assumes that I get every print right the first time, of course.
Okay. Is that everything that they get in that collection?
The little USB key is they charge. It's not in this catalog. It's in another location.
Okay.
And for that, these guys charge. I believe it's $35 for 5 of them. So it's something like that. It's not very expensive. It's like I put in.
Okay, so we'll say
I put in $7.50 as my cost for that.
Okay.
Whoops, sorry, I'm mistakenly.
I'll be generous and we'll say 7.
I mistakenly closed that window, but I don't think
It's okay. Okay, so is that all the products that they're getting?
I believe that's it. The gallery app. The gallery app is something that Shootproof offers. It costs a $10 monthly subscription, and beyond that, it's it's whatever. So I'm figuring $10 for that. I'm figuring $10, assuming I do one a month.
How much are you paying for your hair and makeup girl?
I have a variety of prices depending on who I use, but the top price is $75 per person.
And that's for her to stay in.
That's for that's for the first hair and makeup, and then additional stuff if she sticks around. I haven't actually negotiated that yet.
Okay. We'll assume she's not doing that then, just for this.
Sure. I just doubled it in my head when I said she'll stick around. I just doubled the price. How
about the hotel room?
The hotel room is the price that I have assumed in here is $300. I have it actually all spelled out for myself on a spreadsheet in here somewhere.
Okay.
But
and what did you have your price for your most expensive package then?
$19.50.
And then are you mailing those to her, or is she coming to get them? How is she getting her prints?
We're going to meet.
Okay.
I'm gonna deliver them by hand.
Okay.
Part of the deal, part of the service that I envisage is that everything is done personally, so she doesn't get it in the mail. I'll drive to her door and hand them to her.
Okay. Now in the US, it's basically 30% gets set aside for taxes. Is that pretty close for Canada as well, or how much do you have to set aside for that?
The way my business is going to be set up, as I understand it, and after having explored a couple of things, I'm checking this out. As I understand it, the taxes are based on revenue after business expenses, because I'm setting it up as a personal. I'm not setting it up as a limited limited company. I'm working as a sole proprietor. And in Canada, that means using my own name, I don't even have to register the business. So this is all
we don't either.
So this is all personal income after taxes. So I'm assuming 40% or 30% on the net after expenses.
Okay.
Not on the gross.
Okay.
And so I'm not even counting that because it's just income tax. I will be eventually getting a number for a sales tax number. I don't have to do it until I'm making $30,000 a year in gross sales. But as soon as I've made a couple of sales, I'll get that number and start charging the taxes.
Okay. So right now,
that's the sales tax, and that comes out to about 13%.
Okay. So right now we have your top package at $1,950, and you have $871 in expenses.
Yeah.
Which puts you at $1,079.
Something like that. Yeah. I actually had it.
You need to set aside
about 900 actually.
Okay, so you need to set aside 30% of that $1,079 for taxes.
For income tax, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which is another 359. We'll just say 360.
Yeah.
Which leaves you putting $719 in your pocket, essentially. Okay. So we'll say 700 just to be safe, and we'll assume, gas and travel to the hotel and everything else, whatever. 700 is a good round number because J. Lark doesn't like to do math.
Right.
So here's the thing, is that at $700, if you're providing 18 images, you're getting paid $38 an image. Does that sound agreeable to you?
It doesn't sound as high as I'd like it to be.
Where would you like it to be?
I'd like the well, actually, I hadn't thought of it as a per image price point until just now. I had, but not in
What are you thinking of, an hourly rate?
Not in this. Well, the way that the guides I've been working with do it is they try to get you to work at an hourly rate.
Okay. Tell me how many hours.
But I'll tell you, the $700 is not the price point I want to end up at. This is set up to gradually go up over time, but it's an introduction. It's an opening rate. But you're right; it's where I'm going to be for the next year or two.
Well, not necessarily. I mean, you can start wherever you want as long as you can translate the value to that. Your work is good. I've seen people make more with less quality. So, it just depends. And a lot of the things that you're talking about doing translate value as well. So It's very easy to go, well, now we're staying in a penthouse kind of hotel, so we're upping the rate there, but we're also going to add another $250 on that's going to be essentially purely profit money for me, which is going to get into that. That being said, how long does it take you to do an entire session and edit it?
The session is, this is where I'm concerned about the hourly rate now that you've put it that way, because to do the session, of course, we're talking about setting up and tearing down and doing all the rest of it. I'm assuming that we're talking probably about 7 hours for prep, the actual thing, tearing down and coming home again, and doing the shoot. And then I assume another, that's really interesting, because I also then assume another 15 hours for the retouching and so on.
Okay, so let's say that we get, let's say 20 is probably probably a safe bet. So
which is why doing this full time, I would only do 2 a week maximum.
Right. Okay, so at 720 divided by 20 hours, you're making 36 an hour. So you're really pretty close. Like hour or image, you're looking at 36 an hour or 38 an image.
Yeah.
So
and I would like that 36 to be up in the 50 or 60 range actually. But 36 is a good starting point.
okay, well, let's see what you would have to do. Does it make more sense to you to be paid by the hour?
It's just easier to think of. It's just easier to think about because currently I get a salary, and so I'm able to translate that into an hourly rate and figure out what it would take me to replace my income.
All right, well, at $50 an hour, assuming that you're working 20 hours, you have to, that your bottom line, that 720 has to go up to 1,000. You need to add another $300 to that bottom line.
That's what it sounds like to me too. Yeah.
Which means that you probably have to add another 600 to 800 onto your price tag total.
Do you think
because you're taking 30% out for your taxes on your income. So it's not as simple as just adding another $300 on, because then that $300 is also taxed on. So you're already losing another, essentially $100 off of that for taxes.
So we're talking about something in the 2,600 range.
Easy.
Yeah. And do you think I can get away with that kind of a price? Because honestly, that scares me.
No, I don't think that you can get away with that kind of price. I think that you can create a package that has the value to translate to being worthy of that price, which are two very different things.
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah,
no, you're right. Yeah.
You do have to just change your thinking, because the bottom line is when you go, can I get away with that price? That's you going, I don't think I'm worth that. And that will translate with everybody you talk to, because if you don't believe it, they won't believe it.
Right.
Now, we already said if we upgraded to a higher hotel room that they would expect that to be at $400 to $600 for a room.
Yeah.
So that translates the value for you. If you have a really good hair and makeup artist, that translates the value for you. If you have the wine and the snacks, which we also didn't factor in as a price point overhead for your session, that translates.
I've got that set at about $65.
Okay. All right, but it's not in this one. So you're coming down even further. That's what I mean. Most people forget like little things that I'm colossal at that.
Yeah.
But it's little things like that. Like the luxury is not always in the grandeur. It's very often in the details. So it's the designer soaps that are in the, in the bathroom in my studio. And it's the fact that the chocolates aren't little Hershey or Good Bars, that they're, Gorelli truffles. Those things are little things that say high end, high value.
Right.
So it just becomes about an experience that is worthy of a $3,000 price tag instead of a $2,000 price tag.
Interestingly enough, I mentioned Agnes, who, as I say, was extremely generous with her time and her packages, her information, and her price point for her highest package is over $3,000. Actually, and I went when I saw that, and also I looked at it and I said, and she's been doing it for 10 years.
Mine is at 6,500 right now.
Yeah, yeah. And do people order it from you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, maybe
to have pictures in a thong. Let's just take that into perspective for a moment.
True, it's true.
Like it really is. Somebody, I don't remember where I heard it, but somebody was like, you can make money at anything that you want to do with enough creativity. Some guy somewhere in the world said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take a bunch of styrofoam and I'm going to stretch it out into a piece of spaghetti, and then I'm going to throw that in a pool, and that's going to be my product. And that guy is a millionaire right now.
Yeah, somebody put eyes on rocks and sold them, so yeah.
But that there's a lot of truth to that. Like there is a market for everything if you can find your people. The problem is that we're stuck in this place now where, one, we see the top number and we we get scared about it. We were talking about this in the Arcanum with the masters recently, and the fact that a lot of people cite that $79 a month is too expensive to study in the Arcanum, and is it worth the value? And and I looked at them and I was like, guys, that's less than $3 per day for a month. People pay thousands of dollars to go to a workshop for a single day, a 4 to 8 hour workshop, and they'll drop $250 to $1,000 for a day.
Yep.
We're giving them one-on-one contact for the entire month for essentially less than their Starbucks order. That's how, and you don't think that we're worth that?
And talking about the Arcanum, just as an aside, and not to suck up or anything, but being able to get marketing advice from Jessica Lark on a one-to-one basis is worth the price of the Arcanum to me.
Well, thank you.
Absolutely worth it. And that's why I've been, trying to get this meeting. I know you've been sick and you've been in San Francisco, and I think I canceled once, but I'm happy that we're finally sitting down with this, because this is what I was wanting to go through.
Yeah, I think we're due for another one, and I'm going to do it with no karma points necessary. We'll set up another one in a couple of weeks to really deep dive into your marketing plan. But I think before you start worrying about marketing, worry about the product. I teach and I mentor a lot with writers too. And they're like, I really want to get my book published, and how do I get my book out there? And what's the first steps? I'm like, have you written the book? You'd be surprised how many of them say no. I'm working on it. And I'm like, well, none of that matters. What if you get all this attention and you go, it's coming. It's coming. Then you have like that Game of Thrones thing where they're all pissed off at you for what's going on with that, and they're like, oh, that book's not out. It's not, when's it coming? When's it coming?
Yeah.
And by the time you get it out, people are paying attention to somebody else. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So
I think that, I hope you can see and I see that our time is more than up. If you have to go somewhere, I understand.
No, it's okay. Go ahead.
But I hope that you can see that I'm trying to build this as an experience rather than just the pictures as such. You know what I mean? I'm trying to actually be here. Obviously excellent photography has to be part of it. And that's the idea. And that's the base. But there's the experience, there's the whole package. And that's what I see as being worth the price.
Circling back to social media and building on Facebook and getting engaging conversation going.
Yes.
It would be very easy for you to put up a status asking, hey, what would the ideal boudoir photography package, spa day, spoil the girl look like? What would the ultimate day of pampering and self-indulgent sexiness look like to you? And get people talking about it and let your customers tell you what they want. That was exactly how I got the idea for the massage therapist. One of my clients was on the floor, and we worked hard for that session, and she's like, God, I need a massage after this. And I went, that's a great idea.
That is a really good idea. I'm going to do that. I'm going to put it on my personal page as well. Yeah. I'm beginning to think that I have to pay more attention to not putting up as much other stuff on my personal page, and maybe, I don't know, because my personal page can be very political, for example, and that kind of.
No, do both.
Yeah.
Do both. Yeah, it will get rid of some clients for you. There will be people that won't hire you. But there will be other people that find you as a result of those things. Going back to that stupid video of the recording, it has nothing to do with business. The wall of shame has nothing to do with it. My kids being stupid has nothing to do with it.
Right.
But people relate on that level. And I get messages all the time that were like, I'd really love to hire you because I know you're a military wife and I want to do something sexy for my husband that's getting ready to deploy. Common denominator. There will be people that will hire you and be like, right, because you don't like politician so-and-so, and I couldn't hire anybody that does. I don't want to be in my underwear for a so-and-so supporter.
That's true. I'll get that. I'm sure I'll get that at least once. The funny thing is, I have had, of all the shoots of this type that I've done, only one woman has said that she was doing it for her boyfriend. Every other,
Oh,
and
people
even she was only doing it for her boyfriend because she was celebrating some weight loss that she had done. I mean, she was celebrating herself, and I really believe she was using her boyfriend as an excuse.
Yep, because they have a hard time not feeling guilty about doing it for themselves.
Yeah, but he did get a framed 16 by 20 print of one of the shots.
Yeah.
You know, which I didn't frame it for her, unfortunately, but she got the print.
Yeah, so I would get very clear. I would do some more deep diving into what exactly you want to offer and what would be worthy of the price tag. See what you're getting lots of votes on, and
Yep.
follow that up then in a couple of days and go, hey, you said you wanted X, Y, and Z.
What do you think
Which
of this?
of these are more important? Which of these are most important to you? And let people vote on them. Like, do one of the poll questions and let people vote on which is the most important, so you can decide which has the most value.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And look
Great
into
idea.
that, and then look at your base price. So the way that I do it, when I want to figure out how much I want to make it something, whether it's the Arcanum and teaching or book sales or whatever, if I wanted to get out of this right now and decided I didn't want to be a photographer anymore and I was going to take up, I don't know, like selling pet rocks,
Yeah.
I would absolutely look at what the income is I need to make. So if you're looking to
I've already
retire
done
from
that.
teaching,
Yes. Yeah, I've done
then
that. Yeah.
back plan from that point. So if you know you need to make $10,000 a month, and then you know that you only want to work 4 times a month, once a week,
Hmm.
you know that you need to be putting at least $2,000 into your back pocket, or 2,500 into your
Yep.
back pocket. So then from that 2,500 into your back pocket, you have to add on 300 for makeup, and and 500 for the hotel room, which is another 800, and 200 for miscellaneous, which is another 1,000. So your package has to start at 3,500, and
Yeah.
you have to book 4 of them a month. And if that becomes too daunting and you go, oh, I can't afford that, then you can decide whether you want to break that down and go, well, maybe I'll do 8. I'll do 2 a week, 8 a month. If I can't stomach that $4,000 price tag, I'll do 8 and take it down to 2,000.
Right.
But just worry about on the monthly basis that all of your bills are paid, and then decide it's a money thing and then a time thing. And then in between those two is the sweet spot for where your prices should be.
I actually know exactly the amount I want to make per month.
Well, let's do that.
In order to more than the idea is to more than replace my current income.
Okay.
And also, I only plan to be working at this point 7 months out of the year, and I plan to be full-time teaching 5 months because I plan to continue earning my pension. That's the most release time I can get from teaching.
Okay.
Right. If I retire too early, I lose too
How
much.
much do you want to make a month?
So I want to make about 4,000 a month.
And that's not including your pension or anything else. That's how much you want to make.
Over a 6-month period, over a 7-month period, right? Over those 7 months, I want to be making about 4,000. Now that actually, I would be doing some shooting in the winter months, so it can actually be spread out. But if I just take it in those 7 months, so we're talking between May and December, between the end of May and the end of December. So June to December, that's what I want to be doing inclusive.
Okay. Is that about what you're making while you're teaching too?
No, it's slightly more. It's more.
It's more. Okay. So we're just going to say $4,000 a month every month.
It's more than I make. If I were to make that much a month every month of the year, I would be making considerably more.
48,000 a year. That's nothing.
Well, wait a minute then. No. Oh, that's my net. Sorry. That's what I want net.
Yeah.
That's not my gross. Yeah. That's my net. Yeah.
No, that's your net. And
that would be considerably more than I make from teaching.
Okay, so let me ask you this: if we make you 12 or 15,000 in a single month, is that fine?
I would be okay
with
that.
Listen. I mean, if you make 20,000 in a month, that's 4,000 for 4 months.
Right. No, I'm
so
fine.
Is that okay? Because some people that makes crazy.
No. I have no problem with the idea of having highs and lows and that kind of thing.
Okay. How many sessions do you want to do a month?
Ideally, my number is 6 if I'm doing the upper end. And if I'm doing the middle or lower end products, we're up around
No,
10.
no. That's not how that works.
Well, then 6.
You don't take don't right side menu shop.
All right, 6.
Forget how much money. Assume everybody's buying your top package.
6.
6 days a month.
6 shoots a month.
6 shoots a month.
That's how many I think I could do and do the job correctly.
So you only have to net $666.66 repeating. So we'll say $670 a month, which is actually less
A month?
than the 7. Yeah. No, per session.
Per session. Okay. Yeah.
Per session is $670.
It's actually less than we were talking about there.
Which is actually less. So you are actually on point for reaching that. Do you see how all the different things start to come in where people get brought up and they're like, oh, well, that 36 an image doesn't sound like high enough. But it's totally enough to reach your goal, which is actually more money than you're making right now.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if I go with my dream goal, then I will be getting more than that because my dream is to actually break 100,000 a year. But
okay, then let's do that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, to break 100,000 a year, I would need from photography. Well, let's just assume that I'm breaking 100,000 a year as a photographer and forget about any other income.
Yes, let's do that.
Yeah.
That's that's $8,333 a month. So we'll come down just a little because let's not be unreasonable, and we'll say 8,250 a month.
Sure, that's assuming 12 months of work a year. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I don't have the.
Let's take it down a little more just for the sake of math and round numbers, and say 8,000 a month.
Yeah,
so you're just a little shy of 100,000.
Yep.
But at 8,000 a month, still doing 6 sessions, you only have to put 1,300 in your back pocket from each session. That's your bottom line, and so it's double what your current top package is at.
All right.
You know. So, if we go, but look at the difference too, because if we take that 8,000 and go, oh, you know what, I'm doing photography full time, I'm willing to do 7 sessions a month, it takes it down almost $150. Now you only have to make 1,100 as opposed to 1,350 by doing that one extra session.
So if I were able to do 2 a week, then I'd be in great shape. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
But if you're doing 7 sessions a month, that's also, you're doing 84 sessions a year.
Yeah, and that's an awful lot, and you know, we did already say that we're looking at a minimum, in my view, of about 27 hours of work per shoot.
Mm-hmm. Which, if we're timesing those 84 sessions times 20, yeah, you're putting in. It's not that bad. You're putting in, you know, 1,680 essentially.
Yeah, it's okay.
You know?
It's when I was looking at the 27 hours, I was thinking, and I'm actually doing some quick arithmetic now. If I take that's the 27 hours with 6 shoots takes me to an 8-hour day if I assume a 5-day work week. Mm-hmm. That's why that's one of the reasons I picked
1,600 hours. You know, you think like in a year, like it's 8,760 hours.
Yeah, but
so you're spending an eighth of your time doing photography then.
Yeah, and we have to remember that it includes no time spent doing the other things that are connected to the business, which is going to take a lot of time as well. We have to do the marketing, the bookkeeping.
Also a misnomer. I don't spend any time marketing. I don't.
Okay.
I don't. When's the last time you saw me do anything with marketing or advertising? I don't, because it's one of those things where, like I said, I got 450 people. Now I'm at 10,000 fans. So instead of getting 1 or 2 likes a week, I get 1 or 200 because it's just a numbers thing. It starts to snowball and compound. So you'll put in a lot more hours this year and next year than you will in the following years.
That's what I'm hoping. Yeah. And as I said before, you know, I can bump these, maybe I can bump these prices up and get away with it simply because
Stop saying that.
I'm actually thinking about it as a practical thing now, is because of the income that I want to make. I've reduced my income this year so that I would have time to pursue photography on the assumption I'll make some money. But at the same time, I'm working it in slowly. So, you know, build up clientele slowly.
I, Bruce, will not say I'm getting away with it anymore.
Okay.
While in Hangouts, which is our.
Promise. I promise. Okay. So, okay. Listen, I think this has been extremely helpful.
Has it?
Yes, it has. It's
Good.
it's helped me a lot. I'm gonna reorganize some things, and I
think you should be looking to stay at maybe 4 sessions a month. One a week, if you're putting in 20 hours of editing time, is probably a safe bet for you to do without feeling burnout. So I think that should be your goal, to build your plan around 4 a week, knowing that if you're shorthanded, that you're willing to go up to 6 or 7. You should have an average, and you should have a max, like no more than I will turn away work or schedule it for next month.
If I get beyond this,
if it's more than 6. But I think 4 is a good bet for you, especially if you're looking to move away from teaching and have a little more free time.
Yeah.
And if you're looking to have more time for marketing, 4 is a good number. So I think you should look at your monthly expenses again, break it down, and come back with new numbers. And then once we get your pricing sorted out, then we'll sit down and we'll look at the branding and the advertising materials, and then we'll talk about your marketing plan on social media.
Right. The branding is something I have no idea how to work on. And so we'll see what happens there. Yeah.
Your brochures and stuff are part of your branding.
Well,
so the trick with that is think colors, think fonts, think, go to other companies, go do some research. In fact, you have a homework assignment now. I would like to see a collection of 20 logos from other businesses that you love. And they don't have to be photography related. It can be Coca-Cola for all I care.
All right.
But find 20 brands that you absolutely adore and share links to their sites or their logos or something in the community, and start to get a feel around that.
All right. I actually have been talking with a couple of designers about hiring one of them to do a logo up for me. So, because I don't currently, but at the same time, I've been thinking about just taking the font that I took, that I rented, and use it. And I have been using it as a kind of brand so far. And
don't hire anyone right now until you know what it is that you're offering, because your brand is also your product. You're an artist.
Yeah.
So you are your brand. So there's more work to be done beforehand. Don't get ahead of yourself.
Right.
Do as I say, not as I do, because I'm really guilty of this all the time.
Yeah, well, I'm happy to learn from your mistakes as well as others. I'll make
It's
my own
point.
mistakes.
It's to the point that Pete said in an early hangout when I first started helping out with the team, he's like, I love your initiative. I would rather have someone that I have to pull back than that I have to kick in the ass. Now he ends everything with, J. Lark, don't do anything. Just think about it and get back to me. So it's both. So I totally understand the inclination, but that's your homework for right now. And then when you're ready for that, I want to see you move up at least 1 level, and then we'll do another hangout.
Well, I'm at 17 officially now. This is 18. This is I'm doing this for 18. I'm going to ask to be moved up, but I don't want to do the critique until we've had another hangout on this stuff.
I agree.
Okay, and we'll do another hangout on this, even though I've already moved up one, but that'll sort of push me to start preparing for the critique at the same time. I want to see if I can attract someone to just pay for the base materials and give me the experience of actually shooting in one of these hotels, so that I can add that to my portfolio and my materials. And I know the person I'm going to offer it to, so we'll see.
Good.
Someone who was extremely enthusiastic about these packages when I bounced them off her, and said she wanted to not only do it herself, but invite some friends.
That's an awesome idea, especially if that gives you a whole portfolio of work to put your collective packages together for viewing.
That's what I'm hoping for. Yeah, that's what I'd like to do. So, okay, J. Lark, thank you very much.
All right. I will talk to you soon.
Talk to you soon. And thanks for all this time. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Take care.
Bye.